Do you know your business numbers? One good reason why it's a good thing to know your business numbers. Hi, it's Peter, coach for more impact, more clients. Many self-employed people, many entrepreneurs, I ask if they want to work with me, what are your numbers, your financial business numbers? And they say, I don't know, I have to ask my accountant. Well, it's good they have an accountant. I don't say anything bad, you have an accountant, but the thing is, you as an entrepreneur, you as a business owner need to know your numbers. And then say, yeah, I need to ask the accountant, and it takes 2 weeks to get the numbers. That means it's like driving a car and don't looking out of the windscreen. Not even looking in the back mirror, you're just driving a car, eyes wide shut. Good idea, yes? If you drive on the street, good idea to do this? Well, just the same thing in business. And the numbers I ask is, what is your revenue in 12 months or a year, and what's then the profit? And most people, after 2 weeks, after asking their accountant, they know. But that's are the figures most people are focusing on, that are the numbers an accountant is focusing on. And an accountant is good to keep your books, he's good to make sure you do all legal stuff you have to do, like tax and VAT and that stuff. And he can advise you, if you make profit, how to make sure you pay the least amount of taxes. So that's a good point why you need an accountant. But many accountants don't look at cash flow. But cash flow is the one number you should know on daily basis, or even sometimes on hourly basis. But most people have no idea, and then, well, they have to make a decision. They ask to the accountant, can I make a certain investment? And the accountant says, okay, you have X amount profit, you can do the investment. Well, profit is not everything. The problem is, you can make loads of profits, but if that money is not on the bank account, you actually have zero profit. Well, in the books you have profit, but if you don't have the money on the account, you cannot pay it to somebody else. So actually the only number you really need to know is your cash flow position. And that's not easy, that's not difficult to do. You just take your bank statements, you take an Excel sheet, you take your bank statements. If you have multiple banks, you put the different numbers. You know how much money you will normally get. And let's say it's different, like you make an invoice, but if you know like 20% of the invoices, you have to go hunt them to get your money. So if you have 10,000 euros for invoices, then I would say only put 8,000 in the cash flow. Other money is coming, so that's on the plus side. And then you make on the other side which money you have to pay, how many invoices you have to pay to your suppliers, how many you have to pay to your workers, how much you have to pay, I don't know to what, how much VAT you have to pay, how much you owe to I don't know what. So one side you have the available money within now on the bank and within 30 days, and on the other side you make a list of how much money you owe, how much you have to pay yourself, salary and so on, how much social security, how much, I don't know, all the costs you have. And you can do this on a monthly basis, or what it is, and you see a number on the income side, and you have a number on the expenses side. And if you have more money than you need to pay, you have positive cash flow. And if that's not, if it's the number you have to pay is bigger than the money you have, then you have a problem. But that number is not profit loss, that's something else. But that number tells you how much money you have available. And that money can be maybe spent or an investment, yes or no, or something else. But if you don't know that number, you are cheating yourself. See many people doing investments, but they actually don't have enough cash flow to support it. And that's asking for a disaster. So the number you always need to know is your cash flow. How big is your cash flow? How much is the reserve cash flow you have? And the idea is to make, well, what I do with my coaching clients is to make a plan how we can set up 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 1 year and a half, 2 years of cash flow reserve. Because think about this question. What is the difference if you have to make a decision on an investment or whatever, like you see 1 month, I don't know, we can do it, or you see 2 years, okay, let's take the risk, or yeah. So just knowing the number will make it easier for you to say, okay, let's do this, or we don't. And what I do is I minimum do it 1 time in a week. It takes, once you have the Excel sheet, it's 2 minutes work to check the numbers. In a good accounting system, you can actually see it more or less also, but at least once a week. I know some people who do it once per day, and I know a few who do it once per hour. Well, they ask, please send me every hour my cash flow position. And based on that, you can make decisions. Because if the goal is, I want 6 months cash flow, the goal maybe is 2 years, but if you start out to doing this, we start with 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and so on. But your goal is 6 months, and then you heading that goal, you have 6 months, and suddenly you see the 6 months became 3 months, and it's 2 months, what now? Well, then you know it's time to make changes. It's time to make decisions like, what will we do to correct this again? So, do you know your numbers? I hope you will make sure you will get to know your numbers. Don't rely on an accountant to send you every 3 months the VAT statement, and then you see, okay, and maybe 1 or 2 times a year, like, okay, profit loss regarding paying taxes. That needs to be done. I don't say that doesn't have to be done, but your cash flow is something you have to do yourself, especially in the beginning, because then you are where you're standing, and then you know what you have to do. Okay, so remember one thing: you, as a business owner, a self-employee, you have to know your numbers, otherwise you're riding blind. Take care.